You are listening to 600 Second Saga. Today's feature is My First Feast, An Arachnid's Tale by Jeffrey H. Toney. Gnawing hunger pressed down upon me, a screw slowly biting into wood until it splinters, was the only thing I knew until my first feast. My days and nights were an endless looped reel right up to the point of being ripped out of my unremarkable, sterile home. A nest of mind-numbing boredom. My clockwork routine began at sunset, as lumbering dumb giants below me shuffled in and out of the bathroom, snorting and scratching, mumbling, sometimes pounding. My favorite place to begin extruding my delicate web was above the shiny silver showerhead, under which the dum-dums would rub themselves every evening, spitting, singing hideous tunes as warm steam wafted towards me. When their disgusting ablutions were done, I often marveled at the giant dewdrops caught on my web. Cautiously gazing at my reflection in their glistening orbs, would my labored strand break under its weight? Or would it attract one of my prey, perhaps a parched black ant seeking to slake its thirst, risking a walk on my transparent tightrope, pausing to take its first sip as I doused it with my digestive fluids. Nothing beats warm, liquefied ant on a cold night. The only landscape I have known has been blindingly white. A boundless expanse of smooth, whiteness interrupted only by an occasional gentle slope, appearing pale gray when shadows cast. My unsuspecting prey could be easily tracked by stark contrast, their coal-black exoskeletons lumbering on my white palette. This played out night after night in my dreams as I quietly starved. One night, my body-born black eggshell, fragile, cracking, caustic, dark dust puffs wafted upward, choke me until a deep breath shocks me awake. Weeks would pass without a meal as my web would erode into chaotic, dangling strands, knowing the giants as they passed under it. Hilarious because it only made things worse as my sticky strands stuck even harder. I didn't know how to evade predators except to drop and run. It had never been necessary. One night, my domain and my life were swept away so fast that any reaction on my part would have surely led to an instant extinction. Instinctively, I curled up, finding myself nestled in sticky blue fibers. I learned later that I had been picked up by a giant, perturbed that I was too close for his comfort as he disrobed for a daily cleansing. Their wretched habits for disposing of us usually involved catch and flush, never giving a thought to the hideous drowning that my fellow arachnids endured as they joined a sea of waste. Somehow, my fate was catch and release, driven by an insane notion that my relocation into the wilds of suburbia would be humane, whatever that means. I was hurled into a warm breeze, instantly overwhelmed by the rainbow of colors that I could not see but could feel and hear, nature's crazy quilt of textures and sounds. Days turned into weeks as I adjusted to this bizarre world. At first, I preferred death over this uninvited resurrection. Slowly, I discovered new prey, engorging myself at every opportunity, not knowing if I would ever be so lucky again. Early one morning, one of the smaller giants playing nearby in the backyard, talking to herself, then screeching as she discovered me tickling her forearm. I had dropped down at just the right moment from a shrub branch above, biting down with fierce, urgent determination. I could feel something tear, then split as I bore down deeper, It was the most glorious thing I had ever fed upon. I didn't have to wait for this prey to liquefy. It came to me in warm waves, coaxing me to surf, to skim along its immensely powerful crest. It was not sweet, but satisfied a craving held deep within ever since I lured my first tasteless victim as it clung onto my uneven adolescent strands, precursors of elaborate transparent traps designed to fool even the most savvy of insects. Overwhelmed by pure joy as I clung to the little giant's forearm, I took in the first drop deeply, deliriously drunk, awake for the first time. A flash of my resurrection spoke to me, cast light upon my dull, dark, cobwebbed corners. I had been an empty shell as I sought sustenance in that sterile white hell, relentlessly spinning webs for worthless prizes. Now, brimming, beaming, I am ready for battle against unknown armies. I must go find her father and the rest of her family, and pay homage as I feast upon them, one after the other. Feeding time has begun, and now will never end. This was My First Feast, An Arachnid's Tale, by Jeffrey H. Toney. Dr. Toney has published scientific peer-reviewed articles, news media opinion pieces, as well as short fiction stories in Sick Lit magazine, Oh Dark 30, the literary journal of the Veterans Writing Project, the East Coast Literary Review, Crack the Spine, and in Two Elizabeths. Recently, he was nominated for a Pushcart Prize for his 100-word story, The Quiet Raspberry Wormhole, in Crack the Spine, published in their recent anthology. He serves as Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs at Kean University. Music is provided by Mads. Learn more about 600 Second Saga, our authors, how to submit your flash fiction, and how to support the podcast in the show notes. This has been Mariah Avix and 600 Second Saga.